Hi and welcome to the Financial Fox. Today we are talking about disruptive technologies and how they are changing our lives, economy and society. Joining us is Gerard Martret, the founder and CEO of Shotl, the on-demand shuttle company that matches passengers and destinations. Hi Gerard, how are you?
Hello, very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. So today we are talking about disruptive technologies. Do you want maybe to give us an overview of your company and why you think is disrupting the transportation industry?
Sure. So public transportation, as we know it, in large cities is organized around fixed routes of buses that are following a fixed timetable. And that is an efficient system when you want to provide services, transportation services, to a large number of people. But as soon as you leave the city center towards less populated areas or villages or business parks, this transportation system doesn't keep up. It doesn't work. And it's normally a nightmare for the transportation planner to provide a public transportation service that is really efficient in areas where the population is pretty much dispersed.
Yeah.
Now, to solve this problem, we have invented a platform that is able to empower transportation companies to supply on-demand transportation through a network of minibuses and passenger vans. And that is a system that works on real time and that uses communication services, meaning apps, to connect drivers and users. And the route of the vehicles is created on real time.
Okay, Gerard, can I stop you here? Everything starts from an idea. How did you conceptualize this idea of mobility as a service? How everything started?
Now, we have a previous company that's supplying transportation, chauffeur services for business travelers. Back in 2010, we were living the disruption of transportation with new companies coming in our ecosystem, supplying ride-sharing services. We were looking at this phenomena and we realized that these services were pretty much focused on solving a transportation that was actually adding more vehicles on the road.
Wow.
And we thought that probably transit agencies and cities would like to have an alternative to supply a system, a transportation system that is as efficient as a ride-hailing service, but that is completely compliant with the needs and the goals of what the citizens want, which is normally to have less vehicles on the road.
Exactly, exactly. So if I'm picking up on this, I understand that you work with a very particular algorithm that is basically matching the passengers, the destination, and is very efficient. How that works, do you want to tell us?
Yes, I mean, it's quite complex to be specific about it, but what we do is we are able to match passengers as per their origins and destinations. So vehicles are routed on real time through the network of streets that are available to pick up and drop off every single passenger. We create a network of virtual stops, as many as necessary. Some of them are actually bus stops. Some others are just locations where it's safe to pick up passengers. And what we do is we route those vehicles wherever they are needed in order to pick up these passengers and take them to another bus stop that is pretty much close to their final destination. And so combining the fact that people is willing to walk with the fact that vehicles are routed, we have a pretty efficient system.
And is there a sharing? Are they sharing vehicles?
Absolutely, that's the key to success. We don't have many people sharing together, so the good news is that vehicles don't have to be too big and they can move easily in narrow streets. These are vans or very small buses, and people need to share them as it's much more efficient and optimized to use exactly the same vehicles for everybody. We don't need too many units to supply transportation for hundreds, if not thousands of people every day.
And let me understand correctly, this is something that you can just do on simply on an app. It's a very simple request.
It's very simple, nothing different than a taxi app or any ride-hailing app. Passengers just enter their origin and destination, and they request a ride. And then as soon as we scan every single route of every single vehicle, which takes less than 1 second, we supply an answer to the user, telling the user how long is it going to take him to be picked up and what's going to be the estimated time arrival. And when that service is confirmed, we send the ride to the driver, and the driver only has to follow the indications of a map. So he doesn't have to accept or refuse a ride. He only has to follow the indications and keep picking up and dropping off passengers as new requests come in.
Okay, let's forget a bit about the driver, because we know that lots of companies are actually experimenting self-driving cars. And this is something that you are also looking into to achieve a full automation. Do you maybe want to tell us where you are in this kind of development, and if you have any project on the go that you are trying to achieve this full automation of self-driving cars?
Yes, absolutely. From the beginning, we always thought that this would be a dispatching system of the autonomous car of the future. Although the legal framework right now is not allowing these vehicles to move around cities, but this is something that we will progressively start seeing in many, many locations. To start with the experimentation, we are part of a program that's called Fabulous, where our company, together with Sensible 4, which is a company from Finland that's manufacturing driverless vehicles, we are integrating a dispatching system to supply a vehicle that has no driver to pick up passengers and drop them off in a way that at the end, there's nobody who needs to follow the indications, but a system that understands what's the next location to go. And right now we are on a third phase of this experimentation. We are about to deploy and commercialize this solution. But the good news is that the lab results are very positive. It's working really well. And we are very optimistic on starting seeing this commercially and seeing them on the streets during the next months. So it's a good beginning.
So North-European countries, they are quite advanced in developing disruptive technologies, but also in a kind of having the legal framework that you mentioned before, and that is a key to actually implement those disruptive technology. How did you find working there?
Well, right now we need to always work in safe environments, locations where there's no danger in case of not having an accurate technology, which is something that we are testing. So at the end, we don't want to create any risk for pedestrians or for other vehicles. And right now, what we are working is in locations where it's safe to test out the technology. Very soon, of course, as we little by little find locations that are a little bit more flexible, like business parks or other types of locations that are safer, then we'll be able to see them interacting with human-driven vehicles, which is a new phase that we are very excited to experiment.
Definitely, and then I think, you know, some developing countries where traffic is really a key problem, that basically those leapfrogging technology can really make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so last things that I wanted to discuss was about data, because I understand that part of your unique, your USP is actually to share your data with your customers.
Yeah.
Would you like maybe to expand a little bit on how you can make this process transparent and efficient?
The first thing and the most important thing is that private data needs always to be protected. So at the end, what we don't share and we don't have access to actually is the identity of users and how people is moving. And this is not an information that we can commercialize at all. But one thing that we ensure is that our customers, which are cities in most cases, or public transportation companies, have real-time data on how people are moving generally, so that they know on real time what are the OD matrices or origin destination matrices, and also how people is using vehicles and how they probably create demand where before it was never intended to exist when bus lines were created. So this data is really useful for transportation planners. It helps them understand the flows of the city, and we need to understand as well that it's important to see transportation as an impactful it makes a big impact on the planning of the city itself. So how people move is also an important thing in how you want to plan the city to be in the future.
Exactly.
And that needs to be something in the hands of the planners, which are the public representatives of the citizens.
Yeah, that come back to all the concept about smart cities, which, you know, is something definitely very important for the future. Now, where people can use your app? We mentioned about the project that you have got in Finland. Where are your operations?
We have to say that some of our solutions are white label. So some of our customers are using our technology, but with their own brand. Now, having said this, you can find this type of system powered by Shotl in countries like Switzerland, Germany, France, Italy, Portugal, Spain. I mentioned Finland. Of course, it's a driverless pod, but also the UK. And I can announce now, and I'm very happy to say this, that 2 weeks ago we started in Japan.
Oh, wow.
With very good results. And also, it's a type of location that we're really excited to start, because it's what we're doing in Japan is we are extending the railway system to neighborhoods where people were not using it so much. So our agreement is with a company called Odakyu.
Yeah.
It's a Japanese company that's providing rail transportation. And together, we join forces to extend the impact of rail to neighborhoods where and people were not using it so much.
Amazing, Gerard. So this is a fantastic progress. Now, finally, we know that blockchain and artificial intelligence are two big disruptive technology. They are kind of changing and shaping different industry, our society, and our economy as well as businesses. Which technology do you see being implemented in your project in a bigger way?
Yeah, definitely. One of the big efforts we're doing right now is to have more predictive algorithms, and machine learning is a key development that right now we are focusing our efforts. Of course, artificial intelligence comes next. If not, it's probably we're talking about almost the same. And all these technologies are helping us have a system that is much more predictive and less reactive. And we are looking into that right now, and we are working for that. And most of our bigger efforts as far as research and development that we're doing in the company, they go towards this direction.
Okay, Gerard, I'm really looking forward to see your presentation and to meet you in Tallinn in May. And for now, I wish you all the best, and let's stay updated with your progress.
Thank you very
much. Thanks.
I'm very excited to meet you there. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and subscribe to our channel to find out more news about the latest technologies. And also, don't forget to watch out the Tallinn conference about new technologies in May.